Hi there, and happy Labor Day. My name is Pam Smith. I couldn't be more delighted to be with you and celebrate not only this weekend, but celebrate a kickoff of an incredible thing that Kvaroy Arctic has put together, and it's all about Kvaroy kids. It's part of our back to school focus, whatever back to school means these days, whether you're in the classroom, whether you are doing virtual, whether you're homeschooling, we're all trying to find answers. And most importantly, we're with our favorite kids. And I happen to be with one of my favorite kids, one of my favorite Kvaroy kids, and also one of my favorite junior chefs, Arielle. And she's here with us because we're going to be whipping up this incredible feast that you could put together even tomorrow for a Labor Day picnic, because you might be doing a road trip. You might be needing your Labor Day feast to be in the car. So you need things that are kind of easy to put together, easy to eat, but celebrating deliciousness and celebrating it in a way that's all things Kvaroy Arctic. And that's what we're doing today. So you ready to get started?
I'm ready.
Okay, I love that. Okay, so the most important thing anyone wants to know is you're a kid, number one. You're an amazing kid, number two. And number three, do you like salmon?
I love salmon.
Wow. Okay. You've got a bonus point right there. But now you've got to say, because you had a chance to taste Kvaroy Arctic salmon just a week or so ago, and what was your response?
My response was, I tasted it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is the best salmon I've ever had.
Oh.
It was delicious.
Okay. Amazing. That's the word we like. It's incredible. And I didn't pay her $100 to do that. So we're excited, and that was one of the reasons that we wanted to do this very recipe. But we need to get started, okay? So you've seen me cook a lot, and you know that I love to grill things, I love to pan-sear things, I like to put things in the oven. But with this, we're doing a salmon roll, which is kind of like a lobster roll if we were up in the Northeast and kind of celebrating that. But we're doing a salmon roll, and we're going to do a little different technique. We're going to be doing a poaching. Now, you would say, what's poaching, Donna? Well, poaching is kind of giving salmon a bath. So you and your sister, Vivian, love to take baths, right? You like to get into water. Sometimes that water's a little hot, right? Well, that's what we're going to be doing with the salmon, and that's what we need to get started on right now. So I've got a skillet. We have some salmon, beautiful Kvaroy Arctic salmon, and all that we did was we took this and cut it into long strips. So you could picture that's that salmon that we had that was a beautiful fillet, but we wanted it to strips, and we'll talk about why we did that in just a minute, because we're going to be breaking that up, and we're going to get that into the bath water, into the poaching water as we get started. But this isn't water at all. There's a couple ways you can poach. You can poach with butter. You can poach with liquid. And we're going to do a little bit of a combination of that, because we're going to use a lot of butter on our roll. That's what makes it so delicious, right? But we're going to start with getting a little liquid in here. So this is a chicken stock or a vegetable stock. Either one of those would work out just fine. I'm going to use 2 cups of that. And then we went ahead and sliced and put some celery in. You want to go ahead and put those in, Arielle? And these are just going to give a little flavor to the broth. If we were being very French, we would call this a court bouillon. But right now, we're just all about the flavor. Yeah, just get those in. We also have a lemon, and I think you've got a little lemon squeezer over there. If you want to grab that, that is going to put a little bit of flavor into it. We just cut it in half. We get that in, so a nice squeeze. We're going to use half of that lemon for this beautiful, beautiful poaching stock. Then we're going to save this half that we'll use for a little bit of a lemon mayo that we're going to do differently. Perfect. You got to go, and you can set that aside. How about some fresh thyme? Now, I know that you love spices, and I know you love this. This is thyme, and you can see it's just a really beautiful herb. It just is so aromatic and has it all going on. We stripped that just a little bit, and you can do that. Just kind of hold it here and then take your fingers and just pull right down. That's called stripping it, because it's a little bit, yeah, it's perfect. it just gives that little bit of aromatic that's going on into this broth. I'm gonna get the heat up. Yeah, you like that, right? And we did some in advance. You're doing perfect. So if you want to do kind of like a teaspoon or so of that just to add to it. Yeah, just that little teaspoon will be perfect. You smell your hands, you're like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be the best bath water ever. We also have just a little touch of salt. So if you wanna put like a teaspoon of that, yeah, just a nice pinch, maybe one more, perfect. And we're gonna let that kind of come to a simmer, and as it's starting to do that, this is where we're gonna add the butter. Now, if we were gonna butter poach this, we would put all butter in, but because we decided ahead of time that we might wanna lighten it up just a little bit, do it with a vegetable stock or a chicken stock, we're gonna use about a quarter of a stick of butter. And we cut it into small little pats. So if you wanna just kind of lay those around the pan, what we're gonna do is let those, yeah, they're nice and soft. You got it. I've got a nice, yeah, all of those. And just kind of put them around in a nice little way. There you go. Perfection. Yep, one more. Awesome. You got it. And that's gonna just gently start to melt. Now, yeah, you found that. Now, this is the thing I need you to take a look at for me. I need you to watch this, because as that butter starts to melt, it's going to be our sign that it's time to put the salmon into the poaching liquid. Now, when it's done, it's going to look just like this, which is, yes, voila! It's all ready to put into our amazing salmon rolls. But right now, we want to get this going, and you see what's happening. We've got some nice gentle heat on. That butter is just starting to melt. What all do we have in it? We have the chicken or vegetable stock. What else?
Carrots, celery, butter, and
lemon, and a little thyme, right? We always have time for thyme, so that's perfect. And you can see that's just starting to do exactly what we want it to do. That butter is just starting to melt. Now we're gonna get that salmon into it. And all you're wanting to do with this is just pick it up. I'll do the first one. We want to just nicely lay it in. You don't need to worry about burning yourself. A nice gentle bath.
would you like me to put them
All in. I would indeed. Perfect. Another one. Is that beautiful? So you don't get icky about touching salmon that's not yet been cooked, right? Because you know how delicious it's going to be. Perfect. And you see that what's happening here is immediately it's starting to bubble up. I'm going to take the heat down a bit because I'm really not wanting to boil this. I'm wanting it to just, remember, be in a nice little bit of bath water. So we're going to just turn that down, let it continue to cook for us, and you'll keep an eye on it as you see that it's going to start kind of working its magic. We're going to put a lid on it because the steam is going to help it cook just a little bit. And so when you start to see through that glass top that it's looking like this, we need to be on point and we need to make sure we get it. But meanwhile, we've got some buns to toast. Now this is a regular hot dog bun. You could also use a hoagie roll if you've ever had a hoagie. And because this is classic New England dish, this is just a genuine lobster roll, but we're making it with amazing Kvaroy Arctic salmon. All we did was cut just a little bit of that rounded side off because you gotta have a flat roll if you're gonna make it authentic, right? You gotta go with it. Authentic means authentic. So we're gonna get these just into this pan and let them start to brown. Yeah, you go ahead and take that. Perfect. Great. We've got this on a little bit of heat. You can go ahead and add the others too. We put just a little bit of butter. Again, another reason that we decided to cut back a bit on the butter that was in the poaching stock, because we really wanted to take advantage of that deliciousness and put it onto our roll. So we're going to let that go. I'm going to put it on kind of a medium-high heat. And what's going to happen, right, is we're going to start getting some of those great aromas that are coming from it. You can already start to smell it, right? Butter, bread. Who could be happier with that? I think we're good. Okay, what's happening over here? We see this is continuing to cook, right? We're not wanting it to boil really, we're just wanting a nice little simmer. So that's kind of doing its thing. Usually takes about 4 minutes. So It's been on just about 3. We're gonna let it probably go 1 more minute. I'm gonna let you tell me that it's ready to go. Then we're gonna turn it off and we're gonna let it rest for just a moment in the bath water. So do you and your sister, once you've kind of been in the bath, you're playing, you're kind of talking it up, do you ever just kind of rest a bit and just kind of enjoy that last little minute of the bath? You can say yes. Yes, absolutely you do. Okay, well that is what we're gonna do with this too. So we're gonna let that go. Now what we need to do though is turn it over. So I'm gonna use this spatula, and you, my dear, because you're the perfect junior chef, are just gonna do one quick little flip of that. You wanna do that with the rest of them? Perfection. That's a fish spatula. Yeah, you see that beautiful carrot? Perfect. Yeah, awesome. You did it. And then that one over to the side needs to be flipped. Awesome. No, it's perfect. I know, it's great. No problem. You know why? Because when we make our salmon roll, we're going to be letting those break up a little bit. So this is kind of like foolproof cooking. So it's really, really nice. That last one's always a little hard because it's against it, but you did it perfect. Okay, heat goes off. Okay, you got it. Let's check though on what's happening with this. So take those little yes, tongs. Oh, look at that, golden brown and delicious. Okay, so go ahead and flip that over because we want to get that same beautiful browning on the other side. Oh yeah, look at that. Sizzling, I know, that sound is always the sign that goodness is kind of happening. So that is perfect. Okay, so you have to keep an eye on those. Don't let us burn them, okay? It's always a good thing because it's easy to get distracted in the kitchen, right? So we've got this done. I've already turned that heat off on it, so we're good. But with the magic of television, you and I did these earlier today because we don't want to really work with really hot, just coming out of the poaching liquid salmon. We want to let that cool just a little bit. So let's think about how we're going to put this together. Well, I'm thinking that we'll want to put this into this bowl, and then we'll kind of start our salmon roll salad that's going to go in. But before we do this, this has had its moment to rest. It's a little moment of time. So do we want to try to pull that out just a little bit and see how it's going?
Yes.
Let's use our fish spatula to do that. I'll get the first one.
And we want to put it on the
We're
plate.
going to put it right here. You got it. Okay, you take it over from here. I mean, I think you would really do this, right? Yeah, you're doing it great. Perfect. Perfect. One more. Awesome. Arielle, you have got it. That's an incredible spatula. It's a really thin one. It's got a little bit of lines in it, so it lets all of it drip down. Yeah, you're getting those good carrots in. You have got it. Perfection. Yeah, you might as well. I mean, the carrots are so good. You don't want to leave them. Maybe one more little scoop. We got it. Perfect. Okay. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to sit this to the side because we need a little space. And you know what I need to do is I need you to get to check those buns. How are they looking on the other side? Let's see. Oh, no, I think it's perfect, okay? Let's try the other one. I kind of like the way you set it up like that because we could maybe put it on this plate, right? Because I think it's kind of perfect. Good to go. No, you're doing great. And then let's see that one. Yes, perfect. One more. Aha. Golden brown delicious. It's a chef's favorite term. You got it. Then see how we're going to set these up. I'm going to get that heat down too, and we've got it perfect, okay? So, okay, we've got our buns, we've got our salmon that is cooling here, but remember, magic of television, we've got our other that is in play. Now, the recipe calls for your favorite sauce. So some people might go for ketchup, some people might go for mustard, some people might go for ranch dressing. But when I asked you, Chef Arielle, what your favorite was, what did you say? lemon. So perfect, because what we're going to be able to do with this is we're going to be able to mix up a little bit of a lemon. Now, if we were fancy again, we would call it lemonade aioli. This is going to be a lemon mayo is what we're going to use. So we've got the salmon. Let's go ahead and get that right into our dish. So leave those carrots. Did you want to taste one? It's delicious. No, well, you can taste anything you want. Try the salmon, sure. So good, because it'd be good for you to taste it by itself. What do you think? Oh, that, you want to eat it all. The face is worth a million. Oh yeah. But you see how it's got all that gentle taste. It really lets the salmon come out, right? And then a carrot. You see all that flavor kind of cooked right into it. But we're going to get this right into the pan. And then to make this into a little bit of a lemon sauce, let's take mayonnaise. Let's take that extra lemon that we still had. Get your trusty squeezer. Yeah, get rid of that one. That's right, perfect. Right here's great. Yeah, just toss that in. I know, there's so much to do. Okay, great. And then let's put this one in. And then you can squeeze that right into the mayo. And we've got a half a lemon, about a half a cup of mayo, delicious. And then you could add whatever kind of seasoning that you might like. If you want to start mixing that up just a little bit. Now, we've got an adobo and we have a little bit of Creole. Do you have a favorite? Adobo. What do you think you like about adobo?
I like that it's kind of salty, but it's not too salty, and then I think it goes good on a lot of things.
Okay, I like that, and it just gives a lot of flavor, right, in general, flavor that you like. So, what do you think? Quarter of a teaspoon, a half a teaspoon, around that. You can always go little, and then you can always add more if you need to. Lemon and adobo, beautiful, beautiful blending. You have chosen wisely. Now, if you were making this for different people, that's the beautiful thing, is you could even have some different kinds of flavors that you could use with them. Maybe you were making it for some adults, you could put a little caper in there. Have you ever tasted a caper? Super salty, but it gives a kind of an interesting taste. Maybe you could, for your sister, even put a little bit of ranch dressing in. So there's a lot of directions to go. So you've got that mixed up. Why don't you go ahead and add that right into this salmon? All of it. Go for it. Well, what you think? Yeah, perfect. I love that. Perfect. Okay, and then I think we've got, being so careful, let's get that little spatula, that little blue one that you have over there. Let's just do a little bit of a fine, gentle toss, because you're not wanting to break the salmon up too much. This isn't tuna fish, right? This is going to be a really, really amazing salmon roll. You're right. You're just kind of folding that in. Delicious. And you see what's happening is that poached salmon is kind of breaking up as you're doing it. And that's just perfect. Yeah, you're almost wanting it in kind of little cubes, the same way you would do if it was a lobster roll. Oh my gosh, that looks so fantastic. Okay, so we'll let that sit a bit. You know, quite honestly, you could even do that a little bit in advance if you wanted to, like, think about doing this as a salmon roll that you're having for Labor Day. You could even get that all made up, and then tomorrow start putting it all together. But we're going to go ahead and do it right now. So this is fine. I'm going to pull this down. We're going to kind of avoid that pan. I'm going to move it away. Yeah, we got it. And so let's start putting these together. Now you see what we did. We've got these nice flat rolls that you made golden brown and delicious. So a couple of ways to build these. One way, and I'll be honest, a way I like to do is put a little bit of lettuce on the bottom, because the lettuce kind of shields the bread and keeps it from getting too soggy. And we just did a little fine shred right before we started with some romaine lettuce, which has lots of crunch and deliciousness. What do you think? Do you want to do all four with a little bit of lettuce?
Yes.
Okay, you think everybody likes lettuce, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So just a little sprinkle of that, kind of in the bottom. It's kind of going to be the bread, or the bed, if you will, for your sandwich. A little bit in this one too. Nice. Look at that color. It's beautiful, right? A little more in that one. A little more in this one. You getting hungry?
Yes.
What's your favorite part about cooking?
My favorite part about cooking is probably, I'm not sure. I enjoy it. I enjoy that you can you can make basically whatever you want based on how you like things.
Right.
And,
I was sure you were going to say your favorite part about cooking was eating it, which we're going to do soon. But I love that it's really about you can create whatever you want, so it becomes your creation, right? A creation you get to eat. Okay, so here we have this. Let's go ahead and add, maybe you can take one of those spoons and go ahead. I'll let you take a nice big one, and let me show you with this. Just go ahead and put it right on top of the lettuce. Look at how good that looks. Amazing, right? Okay, so we've got one. I'm going to turn this around and you take over and do the others, because then the only thing we really have to do is whatever garnish that you might want to do. That's right, just fill them right up.
that looks good to me.
Doesn't it look great? Let's see, let's get this one all filled. Perfect. Oh, I love that. Maybe this one a little more. Yeah, you got it. Okay, and then this one too. I like the lettuce at the bottom. I think that was a really good call. Kind of just adds the color. It's going to add that nice crunch, and again, protect the bun. Great. So we'll save that we can eat just a little bit later. That's going to be a good one. Okay, so this is what we have, kind of a symbol that we could either garnish the actual salmon roll with, or we could garnish the plate, because I kind of think you like carrots and celery, right? So could put a few of those on. How about relish? Is that something that you like? No, not wild about that? Well, that's interesting. This is a sweet relish, and it has a little bit of red pepper in it. So if I was going to make mine for me, I would probably put just a little bit of relish right on top. But what's awesome about that is you can let everyone kind of do what they want to do, right? Look at that, Arielle. I love that. How about radishes? Is that something you've ever had before?
Yes.
Do you like them?
Not really.
Not your fave?
They're okay. I'd not put them on because they're not my favorite. But
Wouldn't be your favorite.
yeah.
How about tomatoes?
I like
Okay, there you have it. We've got some kind of heirloom tomatoes. Yeah, you could even fill those up over here too. Would you ever think about maybe putting some tomatoes on top of the salmon roll?
Yes, I'm gonna do that.
You're gonna do that? Okay. Oh, look at that. Because I know you love color, and that's always a way to get that little extra color that's in play, right? Well, you're adding some carrot too. Look at you go. You got it. Perfect. So now you're going to get crunch, you're going to get color, you're going to get flavor. Fantastic. If you were making one for your sister, what would you do? Would you just leave it plain?
No, I'd probably add carrot.
You probably add the carrot? And so if I was going to make it,
I'm gonna use that one.
okay, so let's think about that. Should we, for the radish lovers out there, should we add some, or maybe just keep them to the side, since maybe not everyone's a fave of those, right? Look at that. I'm loving it. Oh, I like that too. Kind of build a little artistry. Look at you. I love it. Okay, so which one is yours and which one's mine?
This one is
I know mine is the one with the pickle relish for sure. Okay, so before we bite in, let me ask you this. I know that you did some of the incredible work with Kvaroy kids. If those of you are not familiar, there's an ACTS. It's an incredible learning unit that goes along with Kvaroy kids. A stands for art, C for cooking, culinary, the T stands for technology, and the S for science. And I know this week you did kind of a special little experiment with taste buds. So tell me what you did.
So we took different kinds of like liquids or sauces, and Chef Nicole put some Q-tips in them and then gave them to us, and we had to put it on our different places of our tongue where our taste buds pick up different flavor, and we kind of tried to guess some of them blindfolded and see which one we could try and tell what it was based on the different places in our tongue.
So what's the taste that you get right on the tip of your tongue?
Sweet.
Sweet. And how about salty?
Salty or like
That kind of to the sides of that,
the
right?
sides of the front.
Yeah, and the bitter is
The
way back in the back, and that's usually not people's favorite. So were there any surprises? Was there anything that you were like, oh, because didn't you also like hold your nose and not smell something too to see if it impacted your taste?
Well, what we did for one of them, we were blindfolded, and it was maple syrup, and we put it on our tongues, and we couldn't tell what it was. We're like, we don't like this. We don't know what it is. It's gross. And then we took our blindfolds off. We were able to smell it, and we're like, oh my gosh, it's maple syrup, and then we loved it.
Of course you
So
did.
it was very weird because it was like one of my favorite things to put on food, and then I was like, ew, no, and then I took off the blindfold. I was like, yes.
You blindfolded and you were able to smell it because maple syrup has such a distinctive aromatic to it, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. When you have maple syrup on this Kvaroy Arctic salmon, that is going to be your new love. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you. In a couple of weeks, we're going to do a candied salmon that actually brushes it with brown sugar and maple syrup. So we'll maybe do a little taste test with that too. But speaking of taste test, how about a bite? You ready to go? Okay, any questions you have about what we do before we get our mouth full?
Do we, no.
You just dive in. You ready? Okay. If people want to jump into Kvaroy Kids and find out what to do, I know you put together, look at this. If someone wants to make this dish just like we did or in your own special way, maybe you like relish, maybe you don't. Maybe you like radishes, maybe you don't. Maybe lettuce on the bottom, maybe butter poach it. This is where you want to tag your meal, which is hashtag Kvaroy Kids. Can you say Kvaroy?
Kvaroy.
Kvaroy, you are a master at this because the V, which normally you would try to think about how to get that sound out in Norwegian, is a W, right? So, how do you say it again?
Kvaroy.
Kvaroy, you got it. Okay, so let's get our mouths full. Let's do it. Hey, Arielle,
Yes.
you're the bomb. Love it. Thank you, my friend. So, so good. And you all enjoy your Labor Day and enjoy an incredible salmon roll that couldn't be better unless you've got Chef Arielle making it for you. See you later. Bye-bye.
Oh my god, it's so good.
So good. Oh my gosh. Okay, you're going to have to try the one with the relish too. Really, really good. You did great.
Thank you.
Love it.